Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Podcast. My name is Gary Buechler. I'm live in San Francisco, California. I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and we are recapping the Inhumans. What a great show. Hi, guys. I'm with my two co-hosts.
Hey, how's it going?
You know Jon Reed in Hollywood, California. Dennis Bithoulkas in San Diego.
Hello.
It's late. It's 11:10. And I can't say we're totally into this one, but it's got to be done.
I like it. I think it was fan.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the ATM and I was going to like take out like $1,000 and just start counting it and going, it was great. Laugh out loud, funny. Everything hit the mark. I would pay for this.
Thanks, Disney, and just fan it out in front of
I know. I wish I had Disney dollars. If I had Disney dollars, I'd be all, yeah. Do they still do those?
No, I don't think so. I think it's all built into like the Disney credit cards now, like anyway. Here's the weird thing about this premiere. So first of all, 2-hour fucking premiere, right? Like I thought we were going to watch it for an hour, talk for an hour. It was going to be like, haha, this was funny. No, they did a 2-hour premiere for a show that nobody has ever thought was good, from the press ahead of time to the movie that they were trying to do with IMAX. Like, there's no way that Disney thought they had a hit on their hands here. And yet, still, 2-hour premiere, big event thing. It's
this
crazy.
Premiere was the same thing that was in the IMAX. I mean, it was the...
Yeah. I know. The whole thing is mystifying to me. Like, the fact I'd be trying to... They're hiding it on a Friday night. And yet they're having this whole 2-hour premiere IMAX release party thing. It's nuts to me. Like, I have no idea what they're doing here. It's very contradicting, in my opinion. I don't know.
Well, Dennis and I, and you've been in on the conversations too, and there is a ton of podcasts out there. There's actually a couple out there that say it's not that bad. And, there's a lot of nerds out there who just like everything. And that's, nothing against them. That's cool. I wish I was kind of like that, where everything is awesome, little Lego song going. But this is clearly, we're not going to bury the lead here. This was sabotage. This is corporate, high-level, egomaniac CEO sabotage. And nobody can tell me different. Do I have any evidence? None other than I've lived my life. I can suss out people. We can all read between the lines. And this is Perlmutter giving the finger to Kevin Feige. So, I mean, that's it. And that's because let's go back to Age of Ultron. All right. And this was a time when Disney just bought the Marvel franchise, and all the actors were about to bail because they were going to get rid of Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
They were and Robert Downey Jr. basically got a little actor coalition together, and they all got on the same page saying, if he goes, we go. And he forced their hand, and Iger had to step in and basically said, Kevin Feige now runs the movie division. They got rid of all the comic book consultants for Marvel. They kicked them all out because they were all on kind of Perlmutter's side. He runs Marvel Comics. And that's where television and the movies split. Did you notice there was no mention of Iron Man or anything in this?
There's no mention of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. either.
None.
Well, there was one brief mention of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. done extremely poorly. When the Hawaiian surfer dude asks...
about
Gordon,
the Inhumans? Yeah.
Yeah, like, are you one of those Inhumans I've been reading about? At first I was like, that's the stupidest question in the world. Like, first of all, how is humans? We just saw like these NASA people like freaking out over like some crazy thing on the moon. Like, and then I remembered back to like, oh yeah, they kind of had Inhumans on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, clearly that's the only reference we're gonna get. So there was a very ham-handed, very poorly done reference to the Inhumans showing up at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But anyway,
yeah. So Dennis, I don't know. We've talked about this a lot. I think we're going to talk about this more than the actual show, because this is really intriguing that this came out. Now, this was all part of the whole trying to screw Fox to make the Inhumans the New Mutants. They tried to do that in the comics, and now it seems like they're working with Fox to screw Perlmutter. So that's why they buried this thing. I mean, they knew they had a shit show from the very beginning. That's why they shot it in Hawaii. They're like, at least we get a fucking vacation out of this. You know, and I'd love to hear what listeners think, and if anybody knows, but it's clearly what's going on here.
Well, here's the question I have, and Dennis, you can answer this probably better than anyone. But I'm wondering why, like they clearly put a lot of money behind this. Like it looks good. They shot the whole thing in IMAX. They had the IMAX release with the original show. Like this wasn't like a, hey, F you to you producers, we're going to give you nickels and dimes to work with. Good luck making a good show. We're going to bury on Friday, right? Like there was some sort of monetary input on the front end of this, and they organized this whole marketing push around this show. On the other hand, what you're saying makes total sense because we know all of the backstory, and this is a show that we just saw air at 8 o'clock earlier than almost any other show is premiering on a Friday. Like this is clearly meant to not do. It's not competing against anything. It's not something they seem to be happy with or putting up against other people. Like this isn't premiering against The Gifted, right? Like they clearly don't want to go up against another actually probably pretty good mutant show. So I don't know, Dennis, like why do you think there's some sort of like heavy buy-in on the front and all this crazy promotional stuff around it to then only bury it? Like it's so contradictory to me.
Well, you got to remember, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Agents of S.W.O.R.D., whatever it's going to be called this season, is getting buried on Fridays as well. I think they just did it for a 1-2 punch, quite honestly. And from what I posted an article that I believe ABC wanted to cancel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after season 4 because it was performing so badly, and Disney told them, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, see, weird, right? Like this doesn't make any sense to me.
Well,
they want to keep their presence. They want to keep the Marvel presence on TV, even if it's I don't know about you, but I kept seeing in that very first like 5 minutes, I saw Marvel. Nothing else. I just kept seeing the Marvel logo coming up, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's a Marvel property, but it sucks because it's really boring.
Right.
So
the other thing I did want to say, just kind of leading into, because I know we're going to have a lot of conversation about like these kind of behind the scenes questions, but I did want to say that the first hour I was kind of watching like, wow, this isn't so bad. Like it's bad, but it's not like, it's watchable. Like I can watch this and be like, oh, okay, it's the Inhumans, right? But then all of a sudden, Black Bolt teleports to the middle of a road in Waikiki, and it's like all over from there on. Like it was just off. I mean, it was terrible. Like it went from like, okay, I can see why people don't like this, but it's some of it to like get this off my screen now, like real fast. I don't know if you guys had that same feeling.
That first hour just made me want to have a Lockjaw show. That's all it was.
I loved Lockjaw.
That was the only thing I liked in it. I mean, the rest of it I could have done without. Anson Mount, the guy who plays Black Bolt, who is a good actor. I mean, I've seen him in a lot of other things.
He's not right for Black Bolt.
He looked bored. I mean, and it was kind of funny. There's a couple times where he's trying to emote things and he knows it's silly, and he kind of you could tell it had to have been like take 15 or something like that, and he's just like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna go whatever with it. And that's what they used, and I'm like, seriously? You used a really shitty shot?
The woman who plays Medusa's
Serinda Swan,
makes him look like the best actor in the world, because it was rough, man. Like I don't know.
She's not the best actress. I've seen her in other things. She was in
What
Graceland.
else has she been in? Okay.
She's so pretty.
She was actually a lot better in Graceland. And she was also in another TV show, the Breakout Kings. About
she's in Breakout Kings.
Yeah. So she's been in a couple of things. She's actually not as horrible an actress as she was in this show. I don't know what they did, but whoever was directing this was probably just kind of like, okay, go.
It was directed horribly.
Yeah.
I mean, the running scenes in the beginning where you see people just kind of trotting, and then when Gorgon goes into the water and like what the fuck was that, by the way? I'm just going to go walk into the water looking for Triton. And what the? And
well, he didn't know what water was, right? Because they're on the moon.
Yeah.
So then he can't swim.
Well, they didn't communicate. It just looked like an idiot walking in the water. And then he gets saved by a bunch of surfers who are very wise surfers who help him along.
The one thing I did like that they did, and it was just a small thing, was they did have the telepathy between Black Bolt and Medusa, and they did just kind of explain it. They said, "Well, what is he saying? You know, you're the one that's linked with him via his mind.
So why can't we hear that?
Yeah,
is there some reason why? And they're pretty advanced. No voice, like mind voice modulator or something like that.
Texting. Yeah.
You know, Stephen Hawking can communicate. Black Bolt? I don't. Just thinking, but I would have loved to have heard him. Yeah, I understand it, and then like the whole using of sign language, and I don't even know if that was real sign language, or I have no idea.
No, that was it was supposed to be a. They mentioned that he had made up his own. It's a form of sign language, but it's also kind of a shorthand as well. So it is a recognized, but it looked
like he was playing rock paper scissors with himself.
It was pretty much.
Okay. My God, Lockjaw looked pretty good, even his little half furry wiener going on there, bouncing around.
It wasn't even that it looked good. It's just the character had a lot of, they emoted well with the seeds. Like, it was just a cool character, right, to see on TV. It looked okay, but
he was in it for 5 minutes. Okay, Triton, who looked terrible, gets killed at the beginning, maybe. They cut Medusa's hair. Black Bolt just doesn't. There's a million times he could have just gone, and gotten out of a situation, and Crystal was dumb, and she's like my favorite Inhuman. Well, Medusa's my favorite Inhuman.
So what does Crystal do? What's her power?
She had the little finger gun thing, the torch that they were talking about.
But then she also made something cold at the beginning, right?
Yeah, she could. Well, she could make things hard, or she's like fire and
she's an elemental.
Basically. Yeah.
Gotcha.
She like barely uses her power. Like in the comics, it's I don't know. She's always kind of standing around in the comics.
Yeah,
I'm talking about old Kirby stuff. Okay, but you know what it made me miss was you saw the potential, especially in the beginning. It looks like they put some time into the city, and they put some time in the like some costumes, not Medusa's dress, and all I could think about was, God, this is what Marvel misses. This aspect, they're going full galactic now with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're missing a good half of their universe because of these Fantastic Four rights, which sucks. Because like that, you cannot have the Inhumans without the Fantastic Four. It's starting to get where you're going to miss the Fantastic Four, and I don't know what's going on there. I know there's some behind the scenes of Marvel and Fox working
They'll probably
together.
Get that back. That hasn't been a particularly successful franchise. I bet it would be pretty cheap for Marvel to buy them back at this point. I don't think they want to deal with making any more of those Fantastic Four movies.
Well, let's go back to 2009 real quick. And when the sale went down, I think they thought they were going to get all their properties back. Because like this is the more you think about it, as more time goes on, they still don't have the X-Men. They still don't have Fantastic Four. They still can't fully use the Hulk. They don't have Namor. They didn't think this thing all the way through.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, half a Spider-Man, for Christ's sake. Oh my God, just think about there's billions left on the door because of that. That goes to show you, like, even on the highest levels of Hollywood, these are very successful people. It's still rash, and they don't think things out. And God, my stock probably took a fucking hit just tonight with this thing premiering. You know what I mean? It's like, God.
Well,
yeah, I didn't hear anyone really talking about this premiere.
Going back to the story. The one thing that I got at the very end of it was that all these people that are living in Attilan, they're basically screwed. I mean, if you don't have a good power, you're working in the mines. So why is Black Bolt and Medusa, why are they king and queen then? And honestly, that's what I got out of it, was that, Maximus taking over there was...
he's kind of got a point.
Yeah, he's kind of got a point. It's not a bad
I think
thing,
that's
really.
the point, though. Like, Maximus has a point, but then his solution is real dumb. Like, he's taking this aggressive stance against people who are probably just going to wipe them out when they show up. So, like, he's right in that the change needs to happen. He's wrong in what change needs to happen, right?
Yeah, and you know, he's weirdly fearless around people who could tear him apart. So he must
Yeah,
rely on their restraint an awful lot because he's a human.
yeah,
You know, and that makes no sense. Well,
Well, he's got a secret power, right? Like let's just say, like in the
yes,
comics, he's got powers. I think he's keeping it a secret. He's got secret power.
yes, and it's the whole plot made no fucking sense, but I don't think it
Yes.
needed to. I just think they went. It looks like they half-hearted tried, or there was something in the beginning there, and they just gave up on it. The actors were pawns in this, and it looks like they figured it out, like during filming, like, oh, this is just a fucking game, you know, and this could hurt our careers, which it absolutely could.
yeah.
I'd have fucking walked off set. I mean, like, ooh, man, especially Ensign Mount, his name, like that guy's a good actor, man.
Yeah.
And Ewan Rayon, Ewan, I don't know, I can never say his name, but the dude who played Ramsey, also fantastic actor. The
Yeah.
guy who plays Maximus. And yes, he was better than most in this show still, but it's still like he's got to take a hit from this. I think anyone involved with this is going to take a hit at some point.
Yeah, you know, and like it had little teeny good moments. I mean,
Yeah.
Medusa's hair in action looked okay. In the beginning, it wasn't great or anything, but it didn't look nearly as bad as it did on that picture. Now her outfit was horrible,
Outfit and makeup is bad.
yeah, it was just really bad. No mask on Black Bolt. I'm like a real stickler for costumes. And
Well, he changed costumes. You saw that.
yeah, and he gets into a fucking, I mean, like, but no mask. And it's, by the way, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who was the producer on Iron Fist was behind this. So he's a very anti-costume guy, and this is, oh my god! And the humans are just not the best property. You want to see good Inhumans, and you want to see them in motion. There is a DVD motion comic of the Paul Jenkins, Jay Lee,
The Jay Lee,
12-issue miniseries for Marvel Knights that's out there. Go watch that. That is good shit. But,
I did like Ken Lung as Karnak, and I love the way they were doing kind of Karnak's abilities.
Well, the one time they showed it, like the one time they showed it, it was rad.
They showed it a few times.
They showed it a few times.
It stopped working.
A few times I saw like with the actual like graphics of him, like the little you know, whatever, like he had like a ruler or something coming out of his, you know, like he was checking. It was Sherlock.
Yeah,
it was very Sherlock. I don't know, maybe that was one of the times I was moving through. I saw when he started losing his abilities, being on Earth. And I didn't even care at that point why he was losing his abilities. He's just, and then he went to sleep. I mean, what?
They got me really annoyed when Karnak fell down. Like,
yeah,
his whole thing, if he sees flaws, that he couldn't see that the ground was going to go out from underneath him. Like, Karnak does not fall down. Sorry, that's just so. Yeah,
that goes right along with cutting Medusa's hair, knocking out Lockjaw, making Crystal do nothing. She decides not to use her power. She could have wiped everybody out there.
Well, yeah, I know why they knocked out Lockjaw, because they were running out of money. They couldn't.
Yeah, I know.
Like, we can't do the CGI dog. How do we get rid of him? Oh, we knock him out. There we go.
So, I mean, what's behind the show? It's what we talked about in the beginning. Is this is sabotage to Marvel? This is a big chink in the armor, and this is I'll call it right now, the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end. It might be a slow process, but this definitely. You know, we're going to forget this happened. We're going to like sweep it under the rug, but it's still out there. I mean, this is going to leave a scar. And, you know, after Infinity War comes out, and I guess Infinity Gauntlet, is that the next one? Or the New Avengers, whatever that sequel is going to be. I think where are they going to go? You know, they haven't established any new heroes yet. They just threw away this property, which I still think people say Inhumans was a shit property. I think they could have made something out of it.
X-Men. It could have been the Gifted. I mean, I know we don't know if the Gifted is going to be good yet, but from what we've seen and the buzz we've heard, it's been at least more positive than the Inhumans, right? Like, so, you know, they could have done just an X-Men TV show with Inhumans. Like, it's not that hard. And they can basically just do what they do in Marvel movies on TV, that it just doesn't look quite as good, right? Like, there's ways to do this, like The Flash or something.
During when Miss Captain Marvel comes out, they're going to be doing the secret, basically the Secret Wars or Skrull War, Skrull Invasion, I guess you could say. That's supposedly what the plot line is, done in the 90s. So what they could have done was they could have just after Infinity War just rolled into something like the Kree Skrull War, something like that. Since you have the Kree in a way that they did bring them in Agents of Shield.
Yeah,
you remember way back in season 1.
yeah.
So the Kree do exist in the Marvel universe. And they are supposed to be part of the cinematic universe because that was when they were still together at that point. Now you're bringing the Skrulls in because you're finally getting the rights back to the Skrulls. You could actually do this Kree Skrull War and all the crap that the comics that led with that as well.
Right. Here's the thing, though. To Gary's, I agree with you, Dennis. It's like what they should be doing is thinking along those lines, and maybe they are aiming that direction. But I'm a little bit more optimistic than you are, Gary. I really do think that we've kind of, I think, mentally already divorced ourselves from ABC Marvel Television because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was so bad, and the movies have stayed at least some sort of a standard. Guardians has, still been good. There's a lot of buzz around Thor. They've had little misses here and there, right? But for the most part, the standard is kind of stuck to the movie brand. And I think the Netflix brand is still like a good B+ strong, B+ A- strong. So I think it's going to take a lot longer to see any sort of decline. We've got to see more chinks than just ABC sucking at doing Marvel TV, because they've been sucking for 5 years doing Marvel TV. So I'm just a little bit more optimistic there. I'm not more optimistic that ABC will ever have a good Marvel show.
No.
It just seems like they're unable to politically or creatively put anything good on ABC for us, but at least they're spreading it around with the Marvel Netflix, with Runaways on Hulu, with the stuff they're doing on Freeform. There's other stuff for us to watch. So hopefully I have more hope for that stuff, and I'm just kind of going to say ABC is never going to give me what I'm looking for. I don't know who they're aiming for. Definitely is not me, and I don't think that person really exists out there, so I don't know.
I'm kind of hoping that after the whole Infinity Gauntlet thing is done with, they go West Coast Avengers, tell you the truth. Bring in Wonder Man.
Moon Knight, yeah.
Moon Knight, that kind of stuff. Spirits of Vengeance, you could bring that in. There's ways to go and still make it fun and make it a big universe still.
Yeah.
And not, you have Nova Corps. You could do the Nova Corps stuff. They haven't tapped that.
And they're putting the New Warriors on Freeform. No offense, but I would love to see the old '90s comic version, with Spider-Man in a movie or something like that. That would be rad. Bringing Hercules and yeah, I would love to see the Avengers expanded, but not. I would like to see them expand some old school characters before they inject us with some of the new stuff that they put out. But that's what's coming, guys. Like it or not, you're going to get the other Miss Marvel. You're going to get, who knows? They'll probably make a Gwenpool movie. I don't fucking know, but just everything I hear from the Captain Marvel movie is cringeworthy. I love the Skrulls coming in, but the whole we're going to do it in the '90s, and where the hell has she been? And then she's going to come back, and she's going to be the most powerful Marvel character, and and then they're going to. I don't want to say it. From some scenes, it's pretty clear who somebody's dying in Infinity War. I think we all kind of know that. Maybe one or two characters are going to die.
Yeah, I think we're going to get.
And there's one little leak scene that kind of makes it clear who it is. And I don't know about that. But then again, with the Skrull thing, they could do all kinds of funny stuff. And I think I'm just going to guess on this one that Black Widow is going to be a Skrull at the end instead of Elektra.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, and that'll explain her hair changing all the time. But because she's blonde in the next movie. But there is a tons of Dennis. You're right. If they'd done Ghost Rider right, and they'd done the Spirits of Vengeance, there is so many. There is endless possibilities. But their inability to, this is proof that this is kind of never going to happen. And this kind of defends why Warner Brothers was never able to get it together to put together their own cinematic universe, because they own television stations and they could have done this whole universe everywhere. And people in Hollywood just can't get along. Yeah, that would just never happen. The way it works in that town, and John knows better than anybody else. I mean, it's a freaking den of vipers, and it's amazing.
Well, there was they're actually early on in the Man of Steel version. I was just reading an article today. I didn't post it. I probably should have. They said why it was so joyless is that Jeff Johns and I forget her name. They were both running the DC, basically the Warner Brothers movie aspect for the DC comics, and he was going over the script and going, "That's not what the character is. It's not this dark." And he was trying to say, lighten it up, and basically all the executives were like, "Nah, don't listen to them at all." And so they kind of pushed them aside, and then we got, the Murderverse that we got.
Yeah, well, dude, when I walked out of Dark Knight, I was like so happy and then sad because I was like, they're going to make every movie like this now. I mean, what works for Batman doesn't work for anybody else. And fucking they might as well put Superman in a black costume in that movie. Yeah. And there are parts of that movie that I like. And I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I think he's a good Superman. Honestly, yeah, Nolan's involvement in that movie was bad. It shouldn't have happened. And then Snyder, both of them together probably darkened it up way too much. Too bad, Jonathan didn't get hold of it. But, because I think he's the better Nolan, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But honestly, looks like they're turning that around, though. Did you hear the good news that, it's a little something, but in Justice League, they're bringing back the old Superman theme? So
yes, I heard that. And also I heard that in the Justice League movie that's coming out, they cut out Iris West's character. That I guess there's going to be some stuff in there with her. They cut that character as well now, which it looks like he's trimming the movie. Finally, he's going through and editing. From what I heard, it was like a 3.5 hour long movie at one point, and they're trimming it down.
Well, we'll talk about that in another podcast because I should have never put Flash on. But back to this. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, we'll see. I just don't think it's the law of diminishing returns. It's been good, but like Guardians wasn't as good, and it didn't make as much money. Actually, Spider-Man has passed up, which I don't think was the third bet out of Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, and Guardians. I like Spider-Man the least, and worldwide it has done better. It's the highest grossing comic book movie this year, even though it didn't do. It did okay in the States, but it didn't do phenomenal because of law of diminishing returns. We've had so many goddamn Spider-Mans. So I don't know. And Guardians, some people just didn't like it. I don't understand that. I thought it was a beautiful movie, but
Guardians 2.
Guardians 2, yeah. I think people just wanted Guardians 1 all over again, and I love that James Gunn kind of made it. It was a continuation of it, really.
Yeah.
If you watch them back to back, it's seamless. It's freaking pretty amazing.
Plus, it has Mary Poppins in it, for God's sakes. Come on.
Yeah, dude. And the original Guardians, that was a great geek out movie. I didn't think I was going to get many more of these, but you guys mentioned Moon Knight. Holy fuck, they need to do Moon Knight. I love Moon Knight. Oh my God. Bill Sienkiewicz comics, the Mark Spector Moon Knight from the early 80s. That was good shit, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Hopefully they're holding on to some of this stuff and not wasting it like they're wasting the Inhumans right now. You know what I mean? Like, I do feel like they kind of crammed the Inhumans in because they were trying to get their X-Men TV show, and like we've been talking about, it just wasn't really destined to happen with the politics over there. But and I also think it was politics too because it was really hung on the directing. Like, a lot of it looked pretty good. Like, the art direction, like Gary was mentioning, like, they put money into those sets, into that city. They put money into the development of Lockjaw. Somebody made an attempt on good costuming. Like, some was better than others, but they put the effort in there and into the character design. The actors, they hired some pretty good actors to be in this show. And the premise is even theoretically an interesting one, right? Like, these two brothers warring for this throne, the royal family having to exile themselves to save their own lives. Like, there's some interesting stuff here. It just came down to the execution of it, and it just became ridiculous. Like, so many lines in this show were just like delivered like high school actors. Like, it just came off as really, really bad and just really weird. Like, so you could see that there was a germ of something that could have been, and it just kind of fizzled because of whoever's hands they put this thing into.
Yep.
You know, actually, I was just thinking about how I would have fixed this, and how I would have fixed this is you don't have the coup happen in the first episode.
Yeah.
You build up to it, and
You know how great Attilan is aside from that mining community.
Yeah.
You know, they show the good parts first.
All we saw was the mine and the throne room and a couple of hallways.
yeah.
Right.
And if you have it where, you know, you're seeing these people are not happy with where they are in the strata of society on Attilan, and you know the basically the ruling party being a bit oblivious to what's going on underneath them, and then just have that slowly building up to the point where you have Maximus can just come in, and you know he has the support of the people to try and force these people out, and
Yep.
you know, and try and kill them, and make that your mid-season, you know, lead in right there.
Get to episode 4 or 5, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But they need to explain to us why you shouldn't go to Earth. Like, show me just
Work
show
that
me
in,
Karnak breaking it down, going, okay, well, if there's 7 billion people down there, and there's like 100K of us, math. I mean, like, no matter how many powers we have, we're dead. Every time we go down there, we're dead. And they have superheroes too. They have Iron Man and the Hulk, and they would kick our ass. So explain that. All we have to do was trust our silent king who isn't saying anything.
Right.
And he keeps on going right.
They also, needed to give us the alternative. Like, hey, we can't go down right now, but we're working on these diplomatic things. We've got these things in place. Eventually, we'll be able to spread out or go to Earth or whatever. Just be patient. We'll get there. Like, there's none of that. It's just kind of like, trust your king. Trust your king.
Yeah.
It's just like, fuck, like, give us as an audience something else. Like, even if I don't know. It's so weird. It's still weird to me that all of this money and marketing power went behind this show that was clearly going to be a failure that they buried on a Friday. Like, why even spend the money on the IMAX release if you know you're just going to throw it on to Friday to die?
There's people without power in Puerto Rico, and that's why when you see actors talking about trying to shame people and stuff, just remember all the money from this piece of shit could have fed a country.
Yeah,
Just saying.
so weird,
Dude. Okay, real quick. What was your favorite thing in there? What was the one thing where you went, or
Dennis, go for it.
For me, it was when it was actually two things, and they're both Lockjaw related. It's Lockjaw when he didn't have the little tuning fork in his head, but he had the outline of it on his head, so it glowed when he was teleporting, and I thought that was really cool. And the nice little touch was when Medusa's on the floor after she has her head shaved, and Crystal's like,
paw.
yeah, the little paw just kind of going on her, and to take her with them. And I was like, that's cool. That's really
I loved
cool.
that too. That was my favorite moment from it. I'm right there with you, Dennis. Like, most of the stuff I liked was Lockjaw. If I were to go away from the Lockjaw stuff, I would say that I think overall my favorite thing were the touches of bringing the comic into the art design of Attilan. Like, I loved that the windows were in the royal family shapes, and the throne room was really cool. Like, I thought they did a good job of visually making Attilan very comic book feeling. If we had seen, like, that's why I wanted more of that, right? But what we got was actually pretty cool looking. I mean, it's not the greatest thing ever, but it was cool. It doesn't look like Thor. Like, that looks so fucking cool as hell, that art direction. But I liked that they, at least on television, like, no other show has really gone fully there yet. Like, even the Flash and stuff, they're basing this stuff in like Vancouver, but with some other little touches, and this one went pure on like fantasy world, and I liked that. I liked the attempt at it. And then I really liked Lockjaw. I also thought that Crystal's hair from the back and her dress made her look like a minion, because it had like the eye and then like a smile at the bottom of the hair, and then her dress was yellow.
Banana.
Yeah, totally. She looked like a minion. So that made me laugh. Anyway, what about you, Gary? What'd you?
You guys are a couple of softies. My favorite part was when Medusa shanked that girl. That was my favorite part. I was like, I'm the Queen Biatch, boo, just fucking shaved her, man, like 6 times. It was like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh yeah, finally. I mean, then the bitch came back to life. But that was fucking rad. I was like, "Woo, that was cool." I mean, that's a moment of goodness, and then it was over.
Yep.
And then I remember she has no hair, and she looks, she looked very cute with the shaved head.
Yeah. What's the over under on how many episodes it's going to take to get the group, the outcast, back together? Like, are they going to be searching for each other for like 6 episodes? Is that what we're in for?
Oh yeah. Well, aren't they all dropping at once now on the website? I heard that they were releasing everything.
Really?
That's why I heard the complete series. I always
remember we speculated that.
Yeah, I interpreted that as like, I heard somewhere, I could be wrong, that they were like online or something. They're going to just drop everything. Like it's all going to be there. So like we could do the rest of this tomorrow if you really want to, but no, don't worry. No. But no, yeah, they're going to be searching for each other, and then they'll get together at the end, and then it's over forever.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, Disney will probably bring it back because they're like, nope, you can't cancel it. Got to keep going.
Well, yeah, that's weird. Disney doing that to ABC could not make ABC happy because they are ABC. I mean, they're under the Disney umbrella, but that is a rare occurrence when the big, when the corporate overlords, Bob Iger, that had to be Bob Iger, said no. And I wonder why. What is there about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Sword, whatever it is, season 5 so important? Is it leading into the Avengers, you think? Or,
no, it's having the Marvel brand on TV, because right now they don't have the Marvel brand. You got to remember, the only thing they have is animated, and the only animated thing they got right now is Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, and actually Hulk ended. So yeah, those are the two things.
But that's for kids. I mean, like they don't have any. There's nothing for adults, Brandon. Well, not that
where DC is everywhere on TV right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
Marvel's headed toward the streaming services, right? Like their future is in their own streaming service, which they're launching with Netflix while they're with Netflix, and with Hulu with the Runaways. Like the future of this, And like we are going to get these live action shows on Freeform, but those aren't going to be very good. I mean, those are going to be really targeted in for like really young teenage girls, right? Like those are not going to be shows that. Yeah, and me, right? Like, well, any show that's targeted for a teenage girl, right? So, but yeah, so that's not going to be anything you guys are going to be into. So I think, your hopes and dreams for Marvel rest in Netflix and their own streaming service.
Yeah, I don't even want to see honestly, if you look at what we watch, what we review on this channel, Alphabet Networks, just not even into them anymore. I can't even watch that stuff. It is so dumbed down and bad. It's so I don't have a problem not having ABC or not seeing anything on ABC ever again. I am okay with that. What is the closest thing ABC has to? I guess it's Freeform, right? To like an FX or
it's Freeform.
It's Freeform. So do you think they're going to try to turn Freeform into an FX, or are they going to keep it teeny bopper?
No, they're competing with the CW there. I don't think. I think
they're keeping it there. PG-13 teeny bopper. They could probably get into rated R land later on. I mean, they could be like sci-fi, with the magicians or something like that.
Well, I don't think so. NBC is sci-fi.
Yeah. I think what they're doing with Freeform is actually going to be more teeny bopper than the CW. I think that they're going to tackle adult issues as after school special type of things. So like when you're dealing with Cloak and Dagger and you've got like, oh yeah, these kids took drugs and turned into superheroes, it's going to be like it's going to be like an after school special version of that. And when you're dealing with the new Warriors, like these teenagers who get superpowers, it's going to be like, it's going to be really Degrassi.
It sucks because there's a way to do that and still be good.
Yeah, I agree.
Tons of
we
ways
don't know.
to do that,
maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe it'll be.
I hope so. I hope so. I like the Runaways. I like the New Warriors. I like Old Squirrel Girl from the Great Lake Avengers. Nothing much after that. But dude, bad times for ABC. So we're not telling you anything different than anybody else is, other than we're going deep into we're going Alex Jones on you, brother, with your tinfoil hats and the frogs being gay, and fucking ABC is ABC is conspiring to kill itself. with Disney, it's
Well-
weird. Well, Perlmutter fucking doesn't like Kevin Feige. He's gonna get him. He's gonna get him. You know, because he's got more power. He's a CEO. You know.
Yeah, but Feige's got more creative power because his shit always
for
hits.
now.
See, I have a theory that Disney is so used to losing money from having ESPN as an albatross around their neck
yeah.
that's the reason why they just kept renewing all these Marvel properties that are on TV.
Just doubling down. Tick reference, by the way. You mentioned that one of the guys is from ESHPN, and I didn't even realize it was ESPN. ESPN.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's our next podcast, by the way. Is the Tick, episode 6. It'll be up tomorrow. This one's going up tonight, and if 6 people watch this, I will be grateful.
Yeah, right. And then we'll be back with Star Trek as well.
Oh yeah, and then Mr. Robot and Gifted. Oh, it's gonna be good.
So yeah, you can check out all of our stuff at YouTube at the Nerdrotic channel. Please hit subscribe and the little bell next to it to get alerts, and leave us comments there. You may be entered into prize packages for different shows that we cover. You can also check out all of our content at www.nerdrotic.com. Please like us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdroticpodcast. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Jon Reed 16. Dennis is at DeForce, and Gary manages our official Twitter, which is at Nerdrotics. That's with an S. Also managing his wife manages our official Instagram, the First Lady of Nerdrotics. She is over there with the Nerdrotic Instagram account. And if you don't like our mugs, you can check us out audio only on iTunes and SoundCloud. We're Nerdrotic on both of those. Just search there, hit subscribe, and you'll get all of our wonderful voices in your earbuds every day.
Or if you're on YouTube, you could sign up for YouTube Red, and then you can.
I just
put us
did.
in the background. Put us in the background, and then we'll still be running. Or but definitely go to iTunes or Podomatic, or preferably our website. That would be where I'd like you to go.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking, just in case you're asking.
Well,
we don't ask
also
for
like
money.
We like those YouTube subscribers. So hit us up.
What we do ask, we don't ask for money. What we do ask for is your undying love. We want your subscriptions. We want you hitting notifications. We want you commenting,
and eventually your money.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But
tattoo our face
pretty
on
soon.
your butt.
Right now, Well, we're gonna have a store opening up. I'll let that one. I'll give you a hint right there.
And we're gonna have Patreon up and running very quickly. So we're gonna have 2 revenue streams that we're gonna be opening up to all you guys to help us out. We like what we do. We just want to make some money off it, so we don't have to toil away in the mines like the unpowered Inhumans did on tonight's episode.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah,
I think
you
actually
wanna
it was
lead
the
us up?
animators that were working on that stuff that were toiling away in the mines.
Was that the guys who did the lockjaw effects?
They were just down there going, "Oh, we need to do her hair again." Okay, her hair didn't pass the test.
I can't give him a full schlong, so I'll give him a half a hairy one. I just couldn't take my eyes off it. I'm sorry. It was like dangling, and when he's walking away, it's like, ooh, I'm like, oh, look, they were kind of correct about that. Okay, sorry.
They need to give him a diaper for the next episode so that Gary can pay attention to the podcast.
I wonder how many if we're gonna get what is the million moms wanting to boycott it because it's a dog penis on
yeah, dog penis on TV.
Exactly. Oh my god.
You want to lead us out, Dennis?
Yes, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, America.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness.
Awesome. Bye, everybody. Come back
Thanks,
tomorrow and the day
everyone.
after that. But we'll be back next week.
Bye-bye.